Well, Bitcoin's blistering post-election rally is stalling the cryptocurrency, backing away from that milestone of 100,000, at least for now. Explosive Options technical analyst Bob Lang joining us with more on what could get Bitcoin to that record level. Or maybe it won't be there in the short term. I don't know, Bob, but we kept talking about it. Maybe we talked it out of it or something. What's going on here? Was it just sort of over-anticipated that it was imminent?
Well, it's interesting, Julie, about the hype from the talk of Bitcoin of the past couple of months. I remember when we were on last time in October, I think Bitcoin is up about 50% since that beginning of October, which is quite a substantial move here. It's pulled back a little bit here, about 4 or 5% from that $100,000 mark, roughly 100,000. That's a huge wall up there. That's increasingly going to push sellers to hit the sell button as we push through that number. But I do think that people like Michael Saylor, who runs MicroStrategy, I think they're onto something here. I think that certainly the investing public is looking for something to grab onto, and the momentum from this Bitcoin is just incredible. And if we could make a run much further than most people expect. I wanted to say that just a couple of days ago that Michael Saylor said that he thought that Bitcoin over the next 10 years, compounded 29% a year, is going to get up to about 13 million per Bitcoin. That's maybe a bit of a stretch, but that's far off. But maybe he's onto something.
So it sounds like, Bob, just to put a fine point on it, because you've been trading and studying these markets for a long time. Are you saying, Bob, in the short term, you do think maybe we take a breather here before then moving higher?
Yeah, I agree with that, Josh, and I think a little bit of a pullback. They call it a backing and filling of some gaps and so forth in the chart. It's going to be constructive and healthful for Bitcoin and for Bitcoin investors. But look, the momentum is very, very strong, and there's a lot of people, Josh, on the sidelines who are waiting for an opportunity to get in to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And this next pullback, whatever the size may be, it could be 5%, 10%, could be that one opportunity for people to get in. Look, let's face it, people who are not in Bitcoin right now, they're suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out right now. And I think if that FOMO gets larger and larger for people, they start getting anxious and wanting to get in on any dip. So the dip buyers have been present there for Bitcoin over the past couple of months. So looking for a much larger dip here might be a good opportunity for people to get in.
Bob, there was also the introduction of options on the ETFs that happened last week. As somebody who specializes in options and watches that market closely, what kind of activity did you see, and what does it tell us, if anything, about where Bitcoin could be going next?
Well, the options market, Julie, offers a really great opportunity for people to get involved with Bitcoin and not having to have that kind of money available to invest, right? It wasn't but 10 years ago, I think Bitcoin was probably about $5. Now it's up again near $95,000. So using options gives you an opportunity to leverage up and define your risk, and in putting capital out there to take advantage of a momentum run that Bitcoin has been on and may continue to be on into the future. So I think the options market, about 7-8 years ago, Julie, we had the introduction of Bitcoin futures, and that was really the point where the investing public became very serious and took Bitcoin very serious about investing and trading in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin futures market is gotten very, very large now. I think the same thing is going to happen with the options market for ETFs and for Bitcoin. There's a whole herd of ETFs out there now. BITI, which was introduced last week by BlackRock. I think they had some record number last week of $513 million worth of inflows into that ETF, and the options market is going to take advantage of that as well too. We're seeing a lot of flows into calls, selling puts, that sort of thing. So I do think that the hype seems to be out of control here, but I do think that there is some good story here for some more upside in Bitcoin.
Bob, always good to see you and have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.